Greetings, Royal Queens and Kings. It's your host, Queen Tulsa, and welcome back to the Queen Tulsa Show. We are here on today because we have some hot topics going on in the street. Listen here, it is going to be things that you've heard about, things that you may not have heard about, but we have all the exclusive for you on this evening. So first and foremost, there was this 8.8 million the $8.8 million fraud ring busted after suspicious bank activity triggers. And so now we're going to go ahead and take a listen, and then we're going to give our thoughts as soon as we're done. So you all make sure you hit the like button, tell somebody that we're live. We're giving you something different, something to take your mind off all the drama and the controversy. So let's go ahead and hit it with this.
Immediately $250,000 are placed in this account. So he begins an investigation on behalf of the bank, does a remarkable job, and then notifies the sheriff's office. When he notified the sheriff's office, we determined that and I'll give you details in a minute, but a guy by the name of Navarez was the one that opened this account. And then from that, the investigations went on, and we determined, my goodness, it's bigger and it's bigger and it's bigger. Ultimately, we served 18 search warrants with the help of and the direction of our statewide prosecutor. We also obtained subpoenas from several banks. And here's what we know. Let me give you the lineage, okay? This Antonio Penn, all right? He was the guy that was stealing the data from the M&T Bank, which is a bank group out of the Northeast United States. But his assignment at the bank didn't allow him access. He was a 5-year employee. So what did he do? He went to two of his associates, Barbara Frazee and Kamala Schaefer. Both of them had 35 plus years. And they were either giving him access to the bank data or giving him the code so that he could access the bank data. Then what he would do is, once he obtained this data, and I'll go into detail of that later on, he would send it to, we call him Oki Akushi, and Oki Akushi then would put it online with Telegram. When it went online with Telegram, people from around the world would purchase this information, and then subsequently could set up accounts. All of the people we're talking about today, other than the tellers that provided access, had multiple accounts, some of them up to 20 or 30 accounts. And then they would buy the data offline and steal from the people. So what did General Uthmeier's team stop with our detectives and FDLE's detectives and other law enforcement agencies? What we stopped was an $8.8 million fraud and theft ring. Then Rashodo Durant there, he would also buy data, and Hassan Phillips, Michael Navarez, and Kevin Clayton, wouldn't you know it, he's here illegally, were three of the players. They were the three players we identified. And then they would push money back upstream. But understand, Durant, Phillips, Navarez, and Clayton, who we're going to talk more about in a few minutes, are only 4 of what we know of hundreds of people that stole data. The irony of it is Antonio Penn and Oki, even though they masterminded the theft of all of this money through wire transfers, they only profited about $70,000 or $80,000, and they're all broke today. So when I introduce you to these folks, it's important that you know that there's always some color to them. Antonio knew Oki because they played college football together at West Virginia. That's where they met. All of our associates knew each other. Antonio Penn liked to be known as Showtime Penn. He targeted the elderly. He called them dead-end accounts. And the general's going to speak more about that in a minute. But Oki, now, Penn's in Maryland, Oki's in Missouri. He is the one that actually sold online the account data. And then from there, we know that none of this would have happened if Barbara and Kamala didn't provide access to Penn. These guys understand. What's interesting about them is Hassan Phillips met Durant playing games online, computer games. He bought the data. All of them bought data. All of these had multiple accounts. This guy claimed to, at one time, work legitimately as a solar power panel retailer. Michael Navarez worked for Ring Power in Lakeland. Durant confessed. When we told him he was charged with RICO, he says, "Hey, I thought only rappers got charged with RICO." Duh. And at the end of the day, the important part is that because of the great work of our detectives and the statewide prosecutor, this entire complicated ring was brought down. So we have focused from Missouri to the northeast of Maryland to Florida. There are still hundreds of suspects out there that are not in custody that we'd love to have in custody. So with that, I want to close with a statement about Telegram. This went from teller to Telegram. Telegram is a platform that is operated out of Dubai. The CEO, Pavel Durov, was arrested in 2024 by France because he was involved in criminal enterprises online. Up until that time, they would not release any subscriber data at all, but a simple arrest by France got them to start to cooperate. But they market online that there's end-to-end encryption And they call it a secret chat feature. That's why all of this could take place. New York Times calls Telegram the playground of criminals. So you have Telegram and Telecrook. And now we're telling everybody there's Telejail in Polk County. So these Maryland, West Virginia, Missouri people went from Telegram, Telecrook to Telejail.
As I get my next story together, you guys just bear with me. All right, so let's go ahead and go right here. Let me see. Let me get out of this. So with that story right there, these weren't just like regular basic people. These were college graduates, and they were in the banking industry, and they decided to do some like set it off type, you know. They did some set it off type stuff. They got greedy, and this is kind of what happens when you are out there. You're putting yourself in the drama, in the bull mess. You just got to be careful. Let's go ahead and take a look at this viral story. So this particular viral story right here is about a TikToker. And I know on YouTube, I'll be speaking about cults and things like that. But this right here, this is actually just that. Okay. And we're going to hear more about it. So I want you guys to really take notes and, figure out what these behaviors are so you can kind of be ahead of everything. If somebody is in a cult and they're trying to recruit you, you need to know the signs. Now, check this out. Feds raid LA home tied to TikTok cult from Netflix documentary. Now, to my members, I do want to offer a members only live where we watch like stories. I'll always give you guys the heads up first. I'm going to give you guys the heads up first on members only, and then we'll open it up to the public. But I really want us to get on over to Twitch. If you all can follow my Twitch, that's where I be, and that's where I watch a lot of my TV, my movies. As a matter of a fact, when I get off of here tonight, I'm going to watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you guys want to watch that recap with me, online for free, just bring yourself. That's it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article.
Out of this, a quiet Tahunga neighborhood rocked by flashbangs. Federal agents storm a property tied to the shocking allegations of sex trafficking. That dramatic raid today tied to an alleged TikTok cult.
Fox 11's Gina Silva. She joins us now live in Tahunga with more there. Gina?
Well, it may have started as a Netflix documentary, but now it is a full-blown federal investigation. Now, right behind me, this property is usually closed up tight every single day, but today, federal agents ran through that gate.
Attention, anyone inside? Come to the front door with your hands up. We have a search warrant.
It sounded like gunshots to me.
In the early morning hours, local and federal law enforcement arrived in this quiet Tahunga neighborhood to serve a search warrant, alleging sex trafficking, money laundering, tax evasion, mail fraud, and COVID-19 pandemic-related fraud.
It's really, really creepy, and this is a really great, quiet little community, and a lot of families.
They must have rammed the gate to get in there. Look at that.
The front gate of the property lies mangled and twisted, clear evidence of a forced entry. Sky Fox captured video of 5 people in handcuffs. This is the same location tied to Shekinah Church and 7M Films, both at the center of serious allegations in a Netflix documentary released in May 2024.
7M, an entertainment company founded by Robert Shin, who's also the pastor of LA-based Shekinah Church.
The documentary, titled Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult, alleges emotional and psychological manipulation.
It started out fairly innocuous, but the control slowly grew.
We feel liberated. We feel that finally maybe there's a chance for justice to be served.
Melanie Lee joined Shekinah Church at 15 and left in her 20s. She accuses Pastor Shin of abuse and running the group as a cult. After years of urging law enforcement to investigate, she now says she feels vindicated.
I know for a fact that they will find things that he's done that are, evil, and he's a criminal. I can definitely say that, whatever's coming for him, he deserves it.
Right now, the search warrant is sealed, so we don't have an idea as to what the agents were looking for at this specific property. But former members say whatever it is, they're confident the agents will find it. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
How long, Gina, have federal investigators been working this case?
The documentary came out in May of 2024. We don't know how long ago this investigation started, and like I said, the search warrant is still sealed, so we don't know the details. But the former member we spoke with has been part of the investigation, and she says that they've been working very hard.
All right, so there you have it. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Okay, so when you talk about oh my goodness, how do I get out of this? Okay, there we go. What I was gonna say is when you talk about cults and things like that, like, y'all really need to start paying attention. Like I said, they made a documentary about it, and then it ended up going on to like to be an investigation. It's pretty much, if you ask, it's the same thing as Nature Boy. When he was on there, he was whipping those ladies. He was giving them the lashings. He was making the guys, bow down and this, that, and the third. And eventually, they brought him down. Let's go ahead and take a listen to this. Ghislaine Maxwell sentenced to 20 years in prison for helping Jeffrey Epstein. Now, let's get into this because we've got some tea. And listen here, y'all probably want to buckle up because your faves are definitely on Donald Trump's list. President Donald Trump, listen here. He's got some people on his list. It is your faves. I hope y'all are enjoying Cowboy Carter. I don't know how long y'all got to enjoy Cowboy Carter. But yeah. Let's get into it. Let me go ahead and hit this link. And listen here, y'all please hit the like, and also I did put up a poll. I am going to put up a goal. I'll put up one goal if you guys can bless us with $20. Okay, bless us with $20 so we can continue to keep the deep dive going. Okay. Yes. Okay, so this is what we are going to do right here. We're going to go ahead and play this clip for you. Let's take a listen.
Epstein's abuse of underage girls. Prosecutors say that she recruited and groomed 4 girls between 1994 and 2004 for Epstein, her longtime associate and former boyfriend. Before the judge read the sentence, Maxwell spoke to the court and the victims, but remained defiant, saying, quote, "I am sorry for the pain that you experienced. I hope my conviction and harsh incarceration brings you pleasure."
Oh, wow. So she hopes that, all that brings them pleasure. A sex trafficker Gypsy Maxwell explains from prison. Okay, so let's take a listen from prison. Now, if you all do not know who Jeffrey Epstein is, honey, he is the man that was really big. He was a big time billionaire white guy, and child, some things happened. Some things went down. And so let's go ahead and take a listen to this. I'm going to put up an overlay. I'm going to put up an overlay, so just bear with me. Please bear. Okay. As I go ahead and post up. Okay, so we're going to start it right here. Let me go ahead and put my overlay up, and then we will listen. Listen here, if you guys feel it in your spirit to donate, feel free to. I'll put everything that we need to know right there on the screen, okay? All right, so that's how you can do it. That's how you can support. And you can also support by hitting that like button. All right, let's take a listen.
Horrorous person who's committed crimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I literally haven't seen any details that are accurate.
For many, it's a galling PR campaign by Maxwell and her brothers Kevin and Ian to set the record as they want the world to see it.
My sister is no monster. We believe in her innocence and that she'll be exonerated in the end.
Ask you about all the allegations that have come out.
The effort to rehabilitate their disgraced sister's reputation comes as the appeal against her conviction and sentence looms.
Do you feel safe in jail? Do you feel safe because there are threats on your life? So do you feel safe?
Yes, I feel safe. I would not know. I don't have any safety issues.
Because as you told me, jails are sometimes dangerous, and Jeffrey Epstein died in jail. Do you believe that he committed suicide? Because many don't.
No, he didn't. I don't believe he did. I believe that he was murdered.
She has no shame, she has no heart, she has no conscience.
For Virginia Giuffre and survivors like her, there is no disputing the facts. As the court found, Ghislaine Maxwell procured underage girls for Jeffrey Epstein. She groomed them, sexually abused and trafficked them. In many ways, some say, she was even worse than the despicable Epstein.
All right, so you all know how that goes, okay? Listen here, we've had some small interruptions, but hopefully you all can definitely hear me. I'm going to back up off of that for right now. But what I do want to jump straight into is some of what I was just telling you all about, some of these celebrities that let's see, let me go ahead and jump up into my topics. So just bear with me. Oh, child. Okay. All right, so I wanted to touch on this. This is actually an article that I can actually show you all. So let me go ahead and bring it on up. Let's see. And welcome everybody that is just now coming in. Welcome to the Queen Tulsa Show. Yes, welcome. All right, so this particular article right here, this is World News, Celebrity News, and Hot Topics with your favorite Queen Tulsa. All right, so let's take a listen. Let's take a read. Yes, you can die from loneliness. It's not just heartbreak. It's a health crisis, doctors say. It's as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. You ever felt so alone it physically hurt? That's not just in your head. Doctors say chronic loneliness can be just as deadly as smoking a pack a day, literally. We're not just talking about heartbreak syndrome. Yes, that's real too. Look up cardiomyopathy. That's when extreme emotional stress, like losing someone you love, shocks the heart so bad it mimics a heart attack. People do die from it. Clock that scene. All right, so let's take a listen. Let's go ahead and go on down. But even the quiet, everyday kind of loneliness can kill you over time. It raises stress hormones like cortisol, weakens your immune system, messes with your sleep, and increases your risk of stroke, dementia, and early death. Research says long-term social isolation is more dangerous than obesity and just as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So no, you're not being dramatic. You're not too sensitive. Loneliness really can break your heart, and not always in the poetic sense. All right, shout out to It's On Site. Let's go ahead and listen to some of the comments. Put God first. It's always a friend in Jesus. Better to love yourself. How when you're born alone, unless you have a twin? Lord, I'm finna check out. Good deed and money good. Get your hair done is all you need. Get to know God. He's like a real friend. For the masses, loving thyself has nothing to do with loneliness. You can absolutely love yourself and God, but still need companionship and friendship for external support and comfort. Don't be too dense on here, okay? It's a lot harder to make friends as you get older. What if you just hate being around people and love your peace of mind? I'm a Scorpio. That don't count for us. We love being the F alone. You're never alone if you have God. At least my pH will be balanced. Damn, someone be my friend before I clock out. This is why these men be tore up behind us, not wanting to be in no relationship. Now, what do y'all think? That's very interesting. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and drop that down. Let's go ahead and bring up our next topic. That's very interesting. I say find you something social. Make sure you are taking a break. Make sure you are touching grass. Make sure you are keeping yourself in the loop. You know, exercise and things like that. Let me go ahead. Okay, it says, ladies, y'all opening the door up for Brian Michael Cox. Music producer and songwriter Brian Michael Cox, 47, is ready for a wife now. He says, okay, so I am ready for my wife now. Someone says, but let a woman say she's ready for her husband at 47. Y'all will be in shambles. Ready for a wife now. A ran through BB spreader. Oh, he looking for a nurse. Ladies, proceed with caution and read the fine print. My heart jumped a little bit when I saw this headline. I thought one of my faves done left us. Please be serious. Now that is pickled and nobody wants it. Oh, not you out here playing these women's faces all these years. Now you want somebody to, when you old, gray, and your knee hurts every time it rains. He's a great guy. I really hope he's blessed to experience being a husband. A caregiver. He's a hospice husband. He's looking for a nurse. Child, I thought God took him out. Wouldn't y'all say a woman was washed up? Keep that same energy. What's the allowance, child? D probably can't even stand up no more. And he better get him a 45-year-old wife too, because oh child, so she feeling a certain type of way. She say, he 47, he needs to get somebody around his age. What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all opinions? Sound off in the comments. All right, so let's go ahead and take it to our next. Oh child, this is what I was telling y'all about earlier. This is exactly what I was telling y'all about earlier. Donald Trump calls for Kamala Harris, Oprah, Al Sharpton, and Beyonce to be prosecuted. Did you all get that memo? Listen here. Shout out to the Girls Are Fighting. Donald Trump calls for Kamala Harris, Oprah, Al Sharpton, and Beyonce to be prosecuted. Donald Trump called for several prominent Democrats to be prosecuted in a Truth Social post on Saturday. Trump accused Kamala Harris, Oprah Winfrey, Al Sharpton, and Beyonce of breaking campaign finance laws and accepting illegal political endorsements. What are your thoughts? He tweets out, I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats. After the presidential election and the fact that they admit to paying probably illegally $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement she never sang, not one note, and left the stage to a booing and angry audience. $3 million for expenses to Oprah. $600,000 to very low-rated TV anchor Al Sharpton. Oh, a total lightweight, in parentheses, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records. You are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break out. Kamala and all those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you. Child, get into this. All black people, and that's why I'm done with Snoop Dogg and Nelly supporting his administration. He just trying to get us to snap. He really pissing me off. Do your job for real and stop deflecting and gaslighting people from what's really going on. Trying to take the focus off of Epstein. With him, release your Epstein laws, my guy. When you are prosecuted, then we can worry about whoever else. Until then, Wig, just leave us alone with this. Child, she carried with that one. Oh my gosh. Anything to forget about Epstein files. What a joke. What are y'all thoughts about that? Do y'all think that he's deflecting? All right. So let us know in the comments. All right, let's go ahead and bring up our next story. What else do we have on the docket, child? Well, let's get into this because it is very much so hot, steamy, and real housewife. Typical, right? Jocelyn Hernandez tweeted, the fact they won't let me do it is crazy. It is crazy. No, Jocelyn, I don't want to see you on there. Someone says no Nene, no Kenya, no Sheree. Everyone except for Britt will be returning for season 17. With the addition of 2 newbies, production is set to commence next month. Roa is filming. Okay, so we got Phaedra, Portia, Drew, Shamia, Kelly, Angela, Cynthia, and they're saying K. Michelle and it was K. Michelle and Keisha. I guess she's from like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I'm not really sure. Let's petition ASAP Housewives. I'm literally one of those that's married, and I've been trying to reach out to Bravo Andy. So what's up? No, ma'am, I'm good. She is married, and she has a big fan base. I say yes to Jocelyn to spice things up. You know, a couple of years ago, I would have said absolutely not, quiet voice. But after seasons 13 through 16, I would say Jocelyn would be a perfect fit. You know what? The reason why I'm a little iffy about it is because the way that Jocelyn was up in that arena, and she was chasing down that woman, and she was very much so unhinged, I would say no. Because it would take only one moment for her to start laying hands on people, and then boom, there's another lawsuit. So yeah, I would have to pass on that. All right, so our next topic is going to be okay, so our next topic is going to be all right, so we're just going to take a listen, and then I'll be right back with my commentary.
Took down an unruly passenger she says was trying to storm the cockpit.
I felt like my life was in danger.
Nicole Pruitt was on Delta Flight 937 from Atlanta to Tucson last week when she said she noticed a woman repeatedly trying to enter the plane's cockpit.
I got her down on the ground. It wasn't hard to do because I thought she wasn't even expecting it. And at that moment, I told the flight attendants, I said, could you please get some restraints for her? And I would say she was very strong, but my determination was even stronger.
The Army vet and grandmother to 7 grandchildren says her military training was crucial in de-escalating the incident.
I knew that I had to take care of myself at the end of the day.
The flight was rerouted back to Atlanta before redeparting for Tucson. The FAA confirming the woman was suffering from a medical emergency. Delta Airlines saying in a statement, Delta sincerely appreciates the actions of our... This is the fallout and customers for de-escalating this situation. We apologize to our customers for the delay and thank them for their understanding.
The flight that was carrying 180 passengers ultimately made it to its destination safely with no reported injuries. The passenger who reportedly caused the incident is not being charged. Mola Lengi, ABC News, Dulles International Airport.
I had this earpiece in my pocket. I put that bitch in my little seat pocket right there. I said, please excuse me. I said, I'm gonna beat her ass right now. Like literally, this chick came all the way from the fucking back.
Trying to get to the cockpit.
Yes, she said she didn't want to be on the plane anymore. I said, bitch, you shouldn't have got on the plane today then. That's terroristic acts to me. The fact that we were fucking first class, these motherfuckers didn't do nothing. They just fucking watching.
Was she getting aggressive though?
Yeah, she was aggressive. The fucking airline stewardess kept pushing her out the way. Said, ma'am, I cannot let you go. And she said, I don't want to be on the plane. God got my guys. She said, how she said? She said, I have a call and God told me to do it. I said, that bitch
God
over here.
told you to do what? You want to find out?
No, I won't fucking find out. I had this earpiece in my pocket. I put that bitch in my little seat pocket right there. Came all the way from the back. She came all the way from the back up here. To do all this.
I need to know if is any medical personnel on board, any medical personnel at all on board that can assist us. Please come forward to the first class cabin.
I mean, if we can get her in a seat, that would be awesome, but I don't think she's awake right now.
Maybe she's looking at her feet. What do you see?
She has anxiety medication that her friend does not know where it is. She might persistent does not know where it is. Does she have a purse? Just ask her friend. Her bag over there. I don't know. Where is her bag? I cannot give a ride issue. She's fine.
Is there any medics up here?
She's not acknowledging me talking to her. That's not talking to her. She's doing fine.
Good job.
Yeah, good job.
I will go her ass. No more shit like that. She's crazy.
All right. So what are your thoughts? Would you step up if you saw somebody trying to get into the cockpit and pin their tails down? And listen here, shout out to the neighborhood talk. Neighbors, get into this. Y'all know people stay acting up on the flight. 69-year-old Atlanta resident Nicole Pruitt stayed the day during a Delta flight from Atlanta, Georgia to Tucson, Arizona. According to a news outlet, a woman got out of her seat 20 minutes after takeoff and tried to storm one of the emergency exits and the cockpit. Nicole told reporters she was yelling and screaming. She said, God told her to get off this plane. Nicole added, she was headed to the cockpit. I just jumped in. flight staff allegedly froze up, but Nicole, an ex-Army vet, intervened. Nicole told reporters, "I felt like my life was in danger, so I got her down on the ground. It wasn't hard to do because I think she wasn't even expecting it. And at the moment, I told flight attendants, could you please get some restraints for her? She was very strong, but my determination was even stronger." Okay, come on, Black woman power. Black girl magic. Instead of continuing the flight, the pilot made an emergency landing back in Atlanta. When they landed, the passenger was removed and held for evaluation. Nicole told reporters that her military training helped her take down the passenger. Delta made a statement saying, "Delta sincerely appreciated the actions of our crew and customers for de-escalating this situation. We apologize to our customers for the delay and thank them for their understanding." The FAA also confirmed the passenger was suffering from a medical emergency. Thankfully, the flight continued and made it to Tucson safely. After the shakedown, Nicole kicked back and chilled in her seat, unbothered for the rest of the flight. Give this woman a year free travel or something. The switch up from interview to TikTok is top tier. All them men on the plane and a Black woman had to save everyone. Clock that, see. That's the comment right there. That's the comment right there. Listen, that is the comment right there. Okay, all of them. And when you see that, like in real life, Black women are always running to the front of something. Okay, the professional interview for the world to see versus how you running it back to your friends and family. Clock that, see. Let's get into this news interview.
This is the fallout after a Georgia grandmother took down an unruly passenger she says was trying to storm the cockpit.
I felt like my life was in danger.
Nicole Pruitt was on Delta Flight 937 from Atlanta to Tucson last week when she said she noticed a woman repeatedly trying to enter the plane's cockpit.
I got her down on the ground. It wasn't hard to do because I think she wasn't even expecting it.
Okay, she's very calm, cool,
and custom.
All the way from the back. I had this earpiece in my pocket. I put that bitch in my little seat pocket right there.
It's the whole transition. It went from, very professional to, listen here, I had to get this bitch together. Listen here, I sure would have did the same thing. Girl, yeah. Everybody would have made it home safe. Okay, let's just say that. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next topic. What is our next topic? Okay, what is our next topic? Do we have any more? I went through my topics. Oh no. Hold on. Because get into this. We're not gonna leave. Hold on. Kenya has something to say. Clock it.
No, some tea. The upcoming Brooklyn, I go out of the room with that and shut the door, honey. So I do know that they're adding 2 new housewives to the team. They're adding 2 new housewives, and I think you guys kind of know them both. They're both like known people. One is a business person she's a restaurateur, and the other one is actually, you know how we always say, oh, it's giving Love and Hip Hop. The other one is actually from Love and Hip Hop. So yeah, there's that. There's that.
All right, so let's get into it. Exclusive: Kenya Moore won't be returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta next season. However, K. Michelle and Pinky Cole set to join allegedly. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk. Neighbors, getting here for this. Gather around. So y'all know I keep my ears to the streets, and I've been holding this alleged tea for I've been holding this alleged tea in for quite some time. But since Kenya opened the door, we might as well give y'all the tea. Bravo fans who were hoping to see Kenya on the next season of Real Housewives of Atlanta, it's not happening. Now, with that being said, Bravo is bringing in 2 Interesting people in the mix. The ladies are K Michelle and Slutty Vegan CEO Pinky Cole, allegedly. Wink, wink. K Michelle finna wake it up. Call me. I'm ready for my peach. Kenya said, F it, unloading the clip. Oh, Pinky would be interesting to see. And Portia and K Michelle gonna go at it. This was done to me and it ruined my opportunity. And I am sad to see his history repeat itself. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to see no housewives. Y'all want to see the drama. K Michelle is the karma. What is the karma Phaedra needs? K Michelle doesn't give housewives no shade. K Michelle comes from an upper middle class Black family. Her father worked in higher education and her mother corporate America. She is an HBCU graduate, former campus queen, and Delta. Clock that. She was accepted to law school before pursuing a career in entertainment, where she, by all measures, has succeeded. She definitely has the right pedigree. Clock that T. Clock that T. And I feel like I'm feeling K Michelle. She's in her soft girl era. She's in her country girl era. She's in her bag when it's coming to the music, you know, and she got even a scholarship for yodeling, or however you said, yodeling. Absolutely. So shout out to her and the opportunities that are coming her way. All right, you all. Well, listen here. Those are all of our topics. I thought we had more. However, yeah, that was definitely it. But we did have a good time here today. Listen here, if you did not already, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, tell somebody that we are always going to be live, but you got to set those notification bells. And listen here, make sure you do that notification bell, like set it to all. So anytime, even in the midnight hour, you can catch the queen. Until next time, so long.
Thank you.